Hi everybody, this is Greg Osenkowski with the Rust Video Graphics team, and today we're going to take a look at the XPression Tessera 1 region mapper. So I'm here inside of XPression Tessera 1, and I have a few different custom sized scenes in my project, but I have not created any of the region maps to go along with this project. So the first thing I need to do before I get into creating any type of region mapping is I need to see what type of region maps this engine is using. And to do that, I can go up to Edit, Tessera, Settings. I can move down to the region map selection, and I can see that this engine is using region maps from projects. And that means that whatever project is loaded to this engine, it will have its own unique set of region maps. Whereas if I used a global region map, that means the region map is consistent regardless of what project is loaded to this engine. Now, I'm going to continue to use region maps from projects for this example, but that might be different for your application. The next thing I need to see before I start creating any of my Tessera region mapping is how many available output channels I have to work with. And to do that, I can go up to Edit, Hardware Setup. On the Inputs and Outputs tab, I should see all of the available output channels that I have to work with. Now that I know that I have 3 output channels to work with on this engine, I know that that will correlate to 3 Tessera destinations. I can now hit close on my hardware setup, go back up to Edit, Tessera, Region Mapping, because I'm now ready to get started creating this region map. Now the first thing I need to do when opening up the Tessera region mapper is create my destinations. Now, as I mentioned, the destinations are the available output channels that we have to work with. So by going to the Destination Regions Layout section on the right-hand side, I can right-click and add a new destination. Now, by selecting that destination, that will open up my Destination Region Layout settings, and this will allow me to enter in some information about that destination. Now, I'm going to leave it with the name of destination, but I will add a description of Output Channel 1. I can now move on to the output node selection, and that will be a single engine. Whenever I'm working with Tessera 1, I need to make sure that the output node selection is single engine. And because I'm working with output channel 1, I need to select output channel 1 from my drop-down menu. Once I've made those 2 changes, I'm done with this destination, and I can start configuring destination number 2 for output channel number 2. Again, I'm going to right-click in the Destination Regions Layout section, select destination number 2 to make sure I'm working on that destination, and I'm now going to give this the description of output channel 2. The node will be single engine, and this time my output channel will be channel 2. And finally, I will create my third destination. That will be output channel 3, and that will be using a single engine node, output channel 3. So I'm now finished configuring my destinations for my Tessera region map, and I'm ready to move over to my source region side. Now, an XPression source region should be the exact same size as the custom size canvas that we've created when we were building these XPression templates. Now for this first example, I'm going to use this 1280 by 720 canvas. Now that is a 16 by 9 aspect ratio, but it is smaller than the 1920 by 1080 destination that we have to work with. So underneath my source region layouts, I'm going to right-click, add a new source, and I'm going to give that a very easily identifiable name, because once we start working in the sequence side of XPression, the source name is what will show up in the output column drop-down menu. So we really need to make sure that whatever we name these sources is very easily identifiable for the size of the canvas that we're working with. Jumping back to my Tessera region mapper, I will give this a name of 1280 by 720, but of course that does not need to be the dimensions of the canvas. The next thing I need to do is assign the virtual dimensions of this source region. And this is where I need to enter in the exact dimensions of that custom size scene. So we can see that as I've changed that virtual dimension, that has reshaped the region in my region editor. And now I'm ready to assign this Tessera source to one of my destinations. Now, because this source is smaller than the 1920 by 1080 destination that we have to work with, I need to create a destination region that is the same size as my source region, or else we will be taking this 1280 by 720 source and scaling it up into that 1920 by 1080 destination. I'm going to select destination number 1, and I'm going to move down to my region editor. By hitting the Add button, this will allow me to create a destination region, which I can then assign my 1280 by 720 source region to. So this region will be 1280 by 720, which is a perfect 1-for-1 match with my source region. And as I hit OK, we can see that that has created my destination region. Now, I'm going to position this in the top left corner. I can do that by using these values at the bottom and entering them in by typing, or I can go ahead and I can free move this region. Once I've created my destination region and I have somewhere to send my Tessera source, I'm going to go back to my source region, and in my source to destination mapping, I'm going to send my 1280 by 720 source to my destination 1, region 1. So we've completed the region map for that 1280 by 720 scene template. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to jump back to that scene and layout, select the scene object from the object manager, find the Tessera tab of my object inspector, and I'm going to assign that Tessera source to this template. So now anytime I drag this template into my sequencer, it is automatically assigned the Tessera source of 1280 by 720. So what I can do now is take this scene online, and with the help of my router, I can take a look at what that looks like using the input of XPression. So we have seen that that 1280 by 720 source is now mapped to region 1 of destination 1. So we're going to take a look at a second example here, and this time we're going to take a custom size scene that is larger than 1920. It is 9600 by 200, which is the width of 5 HD screens, and a height of 200. So again, I'm going to open up my Tessera region mapper. And since I already have my destination regions created, I'm going to start on the source region side, right-click, and add a new source. Now, for this source, I'm not going to use the dimensions of the custom size scene. I'm going to give this a name of ribbon. And this has a horizontal virtual dimensions of 9600 and a vertical height of 200. So again, that matches exactly what we have pixel for pixel in our viewport in XPression. Now, because this source is larger than the destinations that we have to work with, we now need to create source regions and assign those source regions to destination regions. This allows us to accommodate larger canvases than 1920 by 1080. So again, just like we could do on the destination region side, we can create regions on our sources. And for this region, I'm going to create 5 regions, which are 1920 by 200, and I'm going to assign all of them to destination 2. So I created region 1. I'm going to assign that to X position 0. I will create a second. I will put that right to the right edge of my region 1. And I will continue to create source regions until my entire source canvas has been covered. So I've now created 5 source regions to cover my ribbon source, and I'm now going to create some destination regions to assign these source regions to. So I'm going to use destination 2 for this example, and again, I now need to create those regions that are the same size as the source regions. So again, that will be 1920 by 200. As I hit OK, that has created my region, and I can continue to create all of the regions that I need. Now once I've created all 5 of my destination regions, I can now go back to my source and I can assign these source regions to the destination regions that I've created. So again, going to my source to destination mapping, I found region 1 and I will assign that to destination 2, region 1. Once I've assigned all of my source regions to my destination regions, I can hit OK in my Tessera region mapper. Again, select the scene object in the object manager, find the Tessera tab of the object inspector, and assign that ribbon Tessera source. So I can now take this ribbon scene, drop it into my sequencer, and as I take that item online, we can see that that has created a striping effect and has taken my 9600 by 200 canvas and assigned all of those pixels to this 1920 by 1080 destination. Now we're going to take a look at one more example in the Tessera region mapper, and that is how we can rotate a destination. Our final example here is a 1080 by 1920 canvas, which is a HD screen which has been rotated 90 degrees. And we can see that our designer did not need to build this sideways. They built this in 1080 by 1920, and we will let Tessera do all of the rotation for us. So again, I'm going to go up to Edit, Tessera Region Mapping. I will start on my source side to create my 1080 by 1920 source. I will give this name of Vert. Assign the virtual dimensions as they are in my viewport. Finally, I will go over to my destination regions. And if I want to rotate any of these canvases, I first need to create a destination region and rotate the region. So with my destination 3 selected, I'm going to create a new region. That will be 1920 by 1080. And as I select that region, I now have the option to rotate the region by 90, 180, or 270 degrees. So depending on the way you've actually flipped your monitor, you may need to rotate this region by 90 or 270 degrees to get the correct aspect ratio. Finally, once I've created that destination region, I've applied the rotation. I can now go back to my source region and assign that source to destination 3, region 1, which is my rotated destination region. Once I've assigned that to destination 3, region 1, I can hit OK. Again, go back to Layout, select the scene object of the template, find the Tessera tab of the object inspector, assign the item to the Tessera source we've created, and now as we take the item online, we should now see that we have the rotated canvas. Thanks for watching, everybody.